So I'm so sure you guys are used to the museum in Enugu. When you speak about museum in Enugu, everybody thinks of Newberry's Park, the museum located in Enugu State, where you could go and see physical artifacts. You could go and basically one-on-one interact and feel history by touching some of those artifacts and reminiscing on some of the stories that you'll be told by just looking at something, maybe looking at one or two or three pictures that will remind you of what you have read in stories like the coal miners' revolts in Enugu State. You could also talk about the history of Enugu State, when Enugu State really started. And by the way, Enugu State is 34 years of age this year. It was actually formed on August 27th. So it's just the same celebratory mood that we are in. Today is just September 4th. A few days ago, it celebrated its 34th birthday. So beyond that, I was just basically thinking around the fact that anyone who speak of the museum, you just think the museum, Newberry's Park, Ogui Road, Ogui Junction, which has now been turned to something else. It's no longer a museum. Well, there's a museum in there. You could go and check it out. But from evening, there's usually this evening sit-outs that exist there. Everybody goes there to have a drink, have a bite, eat something, and then maybe they head towards their homes where necessary. But did you know there is something called a digital museum? Do you know that? There's a digital museum in Enugu State. The only thing is that it's not for public consumption. It is actually situated right inside the Enugu State government house. All right. The things you see at the museum, artifacts you actually even touch, are remodeled into a digital form, and then it becomes something you can swipe, you can touch, digitally. You could ask the system to tell you any history or the lifestyle or even the story surrounding a particular event in Enugu State or even across Igbo land, and it will tell you that. Yes, I'm not sure so many persons know about this. Maybe because it's not available publicly. That is the reason why many people have not heard about it. So we just take a tour round it and then just tell you a little bit of the story that surrounds it. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Enugu State, just put history on the screen and in your hands. From coal city origins to Igbo traditions and today's innovation drive, the Enugu Digital Museum is where heritage meets high tech. Let's step inside. Tucked inside the Lion Building, Enugu State's government house at Independence Layout, State Digital Museum is designed as an immersive, screen-driven experience center that tells the story of Enugu and the Southeast in vivid, interactive ways. Visitors describe it as the region's first of its kind. Think of a curated living archive, digital galleries, large format displays, multimedia storytelling, and short explaining films that walk you through Enugu's past and present, pre-colonial heritage, coal discovery and urban growth, notable leaders and landmarks, and contemporary culture. The point isn't just to look, it's to explore, tap, scroll, and learn. The museum is located inside the Lion Building complex, popularly known as Government House at Independence Layout Enugu, because it sits in a secure government precinct. Visits are typically tied to guided access, official tours, or pre-arranged groups. If you are planning a visit, start by checking with Enugu Tourism or the state government information channels for current access guidelines. And why does this matter? First, preservation. Fragile documents, photographs, and stories can be digitized, backed up, and presented without risking the originals. Second, education. Schools and civic groups can use the content for structured learning. History becomes interactive, not a dry textbook. Third, identity and tourism. It's a modern doorway into Igbo and Enugu heritage that complements city tours and festivals, helping residents, returning diasporans, and visitors quickly grasp what makes Enugu Enugu. Finally, accessibility. Digital exhibits are easier to update and can be mirrored online or in satellite displays for wider reach. Nigeria is also moving nationally in this direction with a new NCMM National Digital Museum, so Enugu's project sits right on that wave. So what exactly would you see inside? Expect timeline walls, animated maps, and portraits stories of key figures, snapshots of Enugu's coal era and city building, and beat-sized models on arts, masquerade traditions, and local landmarks built for quick learning and group walkthroughs. Content refreshers are part of the idea. New clips, new themes, new exhibits as the city evolves. So what exactly is the digital museum used for specifically? Schools and youth groups, can use it. Curriculum aligned towards that to turn history into a tactile experience, civic orientation, a first stop for delegations, NYSC members, or new residents to understand the state's trajectory. Cultural programming, add-ons to festivals, conferences, and heritage weeks with pop-up screenings, research and media, quick visual references for journalists, creators, and tour operators covering Enugu State. Now, let's compare the digital museum and the physical ones. Many people say the physical ones might go extinct if we stay on with this digital form of museums. So, let's start with this one. Objects versus experiences. Physical museums safeguard original artifacts. Digital museums safeguard the stories about them and makes those stories widely available. Best practice is to pair both. See the real-time item physically and explore the context digitally. Access and scale. Physical spaces have opening hours, storage limits, and conservation needs. Digital platforms scale contents to classrooms, remote audiences, and diaspora, and sometimes 24/7 if mirrored online. Nigeria's new National Digital Museum underlines how powerful that reach can be. Costs and upkeep. Preserving artifacts is expensive and essential. Digital exhibits cost less to replicate and update, enabling rapid refreshers and special thematic shows. Engagements. Touchscreens and short videos can hook younger viewers quickly. Physical artifacts deliver aura and authenticity you feel. Together, they can create the most compelling learning journey. So let's talk about the regional and the national context. Creators and visitors have repeatedly highlighted Enugu sites as a first-of-its-kind experience center in the southeast, aligning with broader Nigerian moves towards digitizing heritage and museum collections. That puts Enugu on the cultural tech map while complementing other institutions across the country. So, you want to plan a visit? All right. As easy as that sounds, let's see. Let me just see if I can put you through. Just search Enugu Digital Museum or Enugu Experience Center and confirm current visiting protocols. Again, it's within the government houses, land building, independence layout. If you are bringing a class or a tour group, coordinate in advance with Enugu Tourism or state channels for timing and group sizes. Pair your visit with nearby landmarks like Michael Okpara Square for a full civic heritage day. So from code to codes, Enugu keeps evolving. The digital museum doesn't replace the past. It protects it, teaches it, and projects it forward. If heritage is a bridge, this is the on-ramp.